Welcome back to another edition of New York Got Game. Y'all know what time it is. It is Knicks season preview time, and I had to have my guys with me. As usual, we've done this the last 2 years, so we had to make it 3 in a row. I like
Tradition.
3 is a good number. Got my guy, Jonathan Macri from Knicks Film School, and my guy, CP the Fanchise from Knicks Fan TV. We've done this. You guys can see in the background, we've got the new graphics up. It's a new look for New York Got Game. We're excited about it. New season. It's only right because this is the most anticipated Knicks season in 3 decades. At least I think
You
so.
don't say.
Don't say. But there might be a little bit of pressure, guys.
No one told me that.
Might be a little bit of pressure. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
I'm great, man. I can't believe we were back here speaking on the season. It felt like we were just here speaking on the playoffs. Yeah. And it also felt like we were together speaking on last season.
Yes.
So everything is just flying by, man.
I know, it's flown by. Everybody had a good summer?
Yeah, no, busy summer, but excited to be back because, like, kind of, as you just said, CP, it feels like this has been part of our journey, you know, as people who talk about the Knicks, doing this with you. And now the Knicks are hopefully at the last leg of their journey, and maybe it all comes together. We'll see.
I hope so. I just did an episode with our guy, Andrew Salop, Combos from Combos Court. He made some bold predictions. Said the Knicks are going to win it all. He also made some other predictions that upset some people, but we're not even going to go there. He had a lot of hot takes, a lot of spicy takes I'll do. But here's what we're going to do on this episode. So usually when J-Mac and CP are here, people, we'll talk, we'll get into stuff with season, we'll have predictions, we'll have stuff like that. We're going to do things just a little bit different this year. We're going to have that kind of talk, but everybody knows the phrase every year, I didn't have this on my bingo card. There's something every year that happens, every season that you didn't have on your bingo card. So as we go through these topics, these two gentlemen are going to give me some things that they think might come up this year that might not be on Knicks fans' bingo card. So y'all ready for this?
Fortune favors the bold.
Let's go.
Be bold. I want you guys to be bold with it. So I want to start with this because a lot of talk heading into the season, guys, is about the Knicks' offensive identity. Mm-hmm. And obviously they made the change from a guy you were a big fan of, everybody knows, Tom Thibodeau, to go to Mike Brown. And I think a lot of it came with, okay, can Mike Brown maximize this team's offensive identity, right? And I think the big question around here is, do you believe that Mike Brown is the guy that can get the Knicks over the hump with what he can do for this team offensively? Now, look, we've seen 4 preseason games at the time we're recording this, and preseason's preseason, people. Like, we don't have to do too much with it. But what's your guys' feeling about this? CP, I'll start with you. Like, do you think Mike Brown's the guy that can get this team over the hump and maximize this offense?
Yeah. I mean, not to bail on the question, but I believe it will be answered at the end of the season or even after his tenure.
Yeah.
It's hard to really say in the beginning that he's going to fix everything. You have a lot of good things that you can go off of, right? The first year in Sacramento, he turned that offense around leaps and bounds. Who knew miracles could work that way, right? Led to his Coach of the Year award. We also know that with the Knicks, despite having a top 5 offense last year, they were 10th when it came to top 10 defenses. They were also a bit stuck in the mud. Players will admit the same when it came to later in the season as well as into the playoffs, where it became a bit more isolation heavy. It just seemed like every possession, whether it was Detroit, Celtics, and definitely Pacers, it was just points are hard to come by.
Yeah.
So they're looking for more diversity, more versatility in the offense. He's certainly preaching the right things in terms of them playing fast, playing with more pace, passing the ball movement, player movement. That's what they need. How they execute and how they fare is a different thing. We'll know more at the end.
It is a different thing. And look, for a lot of people, when Tibbs was fired, let go, whatever you want to say, it's a risk. It's a risk in changing a style that you're comfortable with, or Knicks fans have seen. Do you look at this as a risk, a big risk, J-Mac, or is it the risk the Knicks had to take?
Nothing worthwhile in the world has ever been achieved without taking a risk.
I agree.
And if you look at this Knicks roster, you can't, on one hand, spend, I think, the total combined value of their contracts for OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, like $350 million. You can't spend that amount of money on those 2 guys and have those guys be glorified, ancillary, we're going to stand around the 3-point line pieces when push comes to shove, which, as you referenced, playoff time, there were too many possessions where those guys were not involved enough. And Mike Brown very clearly has come in here with an emphasis on we're going to get everybody involved. This isn't going to be Jalen Brunson dribbling the air out of the ball. This isn't going to be Karl-Anthony Towns, doing the same thing. So I think it can work. I think it has to work because I know we're going to get to defense later.
Yep.
But if you're looking for pathways for this team to actually make the finals and dare I say win a championship, I kind of think top 5 is like the bare minimum. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think they kind of have to be like a top 2, top 3 offense at worst to give themselves a real chance, kind of that Denver model from a few years ago. I think they could do it, though.
Yeah, I think they got to be in the top. I think I'm going to say top 3. I think they got to be in the top 3 offensively. I think the thing when it comes to a new offense, there's going to be some change. Players are going to have to adapt. I don't have this concern personally, but some people are concerned about Jalen Brunson adapting in this offense. What? I personally don't have that concern. Are you concerned?
Concern is too strong a word, but I want to see it because this is a player. It's like, if someone came to me or CP and say, hey, you guys are doing really great with Knicks content coverage, I want you to just do it about like 35% different. And just trust me, it's gonna work. I know you've achieved all the success, but just take my word for it. Mm-hmm. I wonder, how is he? Look, the guy wants to win more than anything. How is he going to respond if he goes through a rough patch or two? That's what I want to see. I'm curious about that. I know he's going to fight through it. I'm curious what it's going to look like, and more, I guess, how long it's going to take for him to really embrace and get used to the role that's being asked of him now.
You got any? Are there any players? Maybe is it Brunson? Is it somebody else that you have concerns about in this new Mike Brown offense?
Not concerned with Cap. I mean, he showed us in his short tenure here his ability to adjust, right? Whether it's adjusting to being a starter, adjusting to playing playoff defenses, and being a master at that. And so, this is going to be a little bit different for him. Maybe they take the ball out of his hands a little bit more, and he's going to have to adjust to that a little bit. But one thing is for sure is I don't think that Mike Brown will be the guy who says, okay, we're going to have to be married to this system. I think in the beginning, they're going to figure out where this works. Is it more so the second unit that's running more of a up-tempo style that Mike Brown wants? And when it comes back to it, they have to make sure that Jalen Brunson is the best version of himself when they get to the playoffs. So if that means adjusting a little bit and putting the ball in his hands a little bit more, you're going to have to do that.
But what I'm hearing from you there, and I saw you kind of nod to that too, is it's a good thing. We're hearing malleability. Something that Tom Thibodeau, malleability, SAT word for the people. Something that Tom Thibodeau was criticized for, right? That maybe he wouldn't adjust. You're saying that, hey, okay, if it does need to be a little more heliocentric at times, Brunson will have the ball. I think that's the part why I'm not worried. I think Brown's going to adjust, and I think Brunson will have some stretches where it might look a little difficult, but I believe that he can adjust. I do think so.
That's fine. Look, it's an 82-game preparation. And you hate to belittle the regular season like that, but where this team is in this Eastern Conference, I think it's fair to say they have a long runway to figure those sorts of things out, which I know we're probably getting with some other questions, but I'm not worried. Okay,
so in terms of the offensive identity, what's the thing each of you guys have that you wouldn't have that somebody wouldn't have on their bingo card? It doesn't think it's going to happen.
Knicks are top 10 in pace.
Top 10 in pace. I like that. Yeah. That's a huge jump for the Knicks and with the basketball you've been watching. What you got?
I would have to say I think they achieve their three-point goals. I think they become either top 5, top 10 3-point.
In percentage or attempts?
They were up there in a percentage.
Yes.
They were an efficient team, but in attempts, I think they're going to get those shots off.
Top 10 in attempts.
I think they will.
Per game. Okay, you like pace and attempts. I like that. Okay, when we talk about this team, let's talk about the front court pairing. Sure. Because it hasn't been announced yet, but it looks like it is going to be the Twin Towers. It looks like it's going to be Mitch and KAT in the front court. Do you think they can coexist defensively? Do you think that, and do you think this helps with KAT at the 4, Mitch at the 5? We saw the impact of that, but do you think they can work together defensively? What do you say?
Yeah, for sure. And even in their limited time in the regular season, they showed positive results.
Yep.
Postseason, it was a bit more of a mixed bag. What we're hoping is with a larger sample size, they'll be able to display that. But there's no question, for me, you guys have heard me say it ad nauseum, Mitch is the guy. No defense, no rebounding, no rings. And he's the guy that's in the middle of all of it. He's a signal caller. He's a guy that if you want to switch and you want to switch him out on the perimeter, guard guys in space, he can do that. He's going to get you the offensive side, he's going to get you second chance. But in terms of defensively, Mitch being down there to end possessions, either as an intimidator, a shot blocker, or just grabbing, securing the defensive rebound, That's what they need, and I think it's going to work very well with Karl-Anthony Towns.
Any concerns for you, J-Mac, especially if you get to the playoffs and, you go to get the Hack-a-Mitch going on? Are you concerned with him as a starter there, or do you think he's just so valuable in what CP said and what he gives to you on the defense and the rebounding?
No, I mean, look, the Hack-a-Mitch thing, and we have read some recent reports that he's trying to make some adjustments.
Yes.
I think Mr. Bondy,
Stefan Bondy,
our good friend
yep.
here. So we'll see if that works. Look, at the end of the day, he is, and I got to give you credit because everybody and their mother, including me, has spent time trying to trade Mitchell Robinson to this team or that team since he got here. And you have stood your ground, and you should be running victory laps now because, look, Jalen Brunson's the MVP candidate. They're going to go as far as Jalen Brunson's talents could take them. But other than Brunson, I think there's a real legitimate argument that Mitchell Robinson's the most important player on the team.
Most important player.
Because if you look at, again, can they have a top 3 offense like we were talking about before with Mitchell Robinson playing 25 to 30 minutes a game? I think they can. I think there's enough talent that even though he may not be the most skilled offensive player in the world, he also makes up for it with the offensive rebounding. So then you go to the other side of the court. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to be at least the top half of the league defense? And I mean, reasonable minds may differ. I don't see a path to that without Mitch playing a significant role. With and again, look, we got a year of KAT at the 5. Had some good moments, had some bad moments. I know what I want to see when the chips are on the line, and I want to see Mitch in there manning the middle defensively.
I was not in favor of the double big lineup at first. I wanted to see this. I wanted to see a little bit more 5 out, but I tend to agree. I've liked how it's looked in the preseason.
Yeah.
I know it's just preseason, but I like how it looks. I think it's their only pathway to be reasonably good at close to a championship level, which is like, what, a top 12 defense?
Something like that.
Something like that, right? The path we're talking, like, could you be a top 3 offense, a top 12 defense? They don't have that pathway. I'm with you without Mitchell Robinson. So what do you guys have maybe for Mitchell Robinson or Karl-Anthony Towns that might not be on some people's bingo cards this year? What you got, CP?
I'm going to say...
Bingo card stuff, a lot of pressure.
I'm going to say.
Be bold. You know
Be
you
bold. You don't.
See.
We're going to be wrong on some of these predictions. We're going to be wrong.
I got one.
we-
If you want, you got one. Oh, you want to do something? Just do it.
71 games for Mitch.
Yo, I love that you went to the games played.
That's
I
interesting.
love that you went to the
71
games played. 71 games played.
Yeah.
Qualified for Defensive Player of the Year with that.
Yeah.
71 games played.
I'm betting on Casey Smith, the master
trainer.
scientist, the master
Okay.
trainer. Right?
71
I'm
games.
hoping for limited minutes, not so many back-to-backs. I think Mitch can get there.
71 games. That'd be huge. What you got, J-Mac?
3 different Knicks will get votes for all defense. Multiple votes.
Multiple votes.
Yes. Like more than just, like, I think Josh Hart got a vote like some years ago.
And one of those you think will be Mitch?
And one of the, I think, I mean, Mitch, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges. I think all of those 3 will have what will be agreed upon as good to great defensive seasons.
I will say, not that I dislike yours, I really like CP's.
Oh, CP's, well, listen.
I do think Mitch is going to have a really healthy season. I really do. I feel he'll play at least 65 is what I'll say. I like your pick there.
If he plays 71, if there's anywhere, we all have different gambling books and things that sponsor our shows. Go bet for him for all defense.
Put it down.
Seriously,
Yeah.
If you think he's going to play the games, bet all defense.
All right, there you go. You got some betting advice there from Mr. Macri.
Free advice.
I want to talk to you guys also about the bench because
Sure.
I think one of the biggest things we knew was like, okay, Knicks have to upgrade the bench. I think all of us here, we like the moves to get Clarkson, to get Yabusele. Yabusele. I realized the pronunciation came out yesterday. The Knicks had that, and I got to be right on that. So there you go. The bench we saw in the 4th preseason game did not look so good when they had time to start against the Wizards. That didn't look so good. How do you feel about this bench in terms of roles? Do you think young guys deserve more run with this bench? How are you feeling about this bench as we head into the season? J-Mac, I'll start with you.
I I don't know if this is a cop-out answer, but I think the most important question about the bench is how they are utilized with certain starters, which is to say, when one of Brunson, really it comes down to Brunson and KAT. When one of Brunson or KAT's on the floor, only Brunson's on the floor, who is he playing with? And how can they make, because the Brunson only lineups last year very quietly did not go so great. The KAT only lineups went fantastic.
Well,
and him and Campaign and that crew, they were gangbusters. Again, it was kind of went under the radar. So you have coming off the bench, and you have Jordan Clarkson's a very offense-forward player, let's say. Yabusele, kind of in the same mold. We saw maybe don't want to be playing him so much at the 5. Deuce, we know what Deuce could do. Deuce could do anything you need him to do. And then probably Josh Hart. And again, if Mitch starts, so then, okay, so you got Josh Hart coming off the bench. You probably don't want to play those guys together too much. But we keep hearing about, okay, can there be more 5 out? So does that mean we're going to try to also limit KAT's minutes with Josh Hart? Like pretty quickly, the Jenga tower gets a little wobbly. And so again, I go back to my original statement, which is how are all of these guys going to fit in? Because look, we know these guys are good. Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, I know Clarkson has rubbed some people the wrong way. These guys are talented, you know? So how does Mike Brown get the most out of them is what I'm kind of wondering with the bench.
That is the biggest question. How do you see the bench working? Do you like this bench unit? Do you think there's something they're lacking? What do you like about this bench unit?
I think he touched on it. I think as individuals, you have to, I think, be optimistic in terms of what they got based on what they have last year. As a collective, it's very inconclusive. I mean, he mentioned Josh Hart. We haven't even seen Josh Hart in the preseason.
Outside of the first game for a couple minutes.
How does he feel? How is he impacted with the splint? How does his knee feel? Remember, he's got a chronic knee condition. Do they need to load manage Josh Hart a little bit throughout the season? So I think coming off the bench for him will be great. But that combo with Hart, Clarkson, Deuce, who gets the playing time in the early preseason? We saw that Clarkson and Deuce were the first 2 off the bench. Who's playmaking, right? Who's going to get those guys to be the best versions of themselves is the question. Yabusele, another one. He's a guy, most of his points come off of assists. He needs someone to play make for him. So if you're going to get the most out of him as a pick and pop threat, as a pick and roll threat, who's playmaking? Because Clarkson, he already said, I'm shooting it. I'm getting the ball. Yeah. It's going up. You need Deuce shooting. Like that mix is interesting, especially where Yabusele is concerned. I don't want him to get lost.
No, go.
And on that note, if you're running 3, because they have a lot of guards, no shade at Pacome Dadier, but like, what time is it? Is he still here? Listen, they have a lot of guards. So if you're running 3 guard units with the bench, do they need to play with Mitch to be sustainable defensively, to be sustainable on the boards? Are we going to see OG Anunoby be like, again, some size next to Mitch? These are all, again, I'm fascinated to see which way he goes with this stuff.
I think it's very interesting. I want to go back to, before we go, sorry, I got to get your bingo card stuff. Almost forgot about that. What's your bingo card stuff for the bench? Got anything for the bench, J-Mac here?
Oh, man, I could go really bold here. To hell with it. Josh Hart is the leading rotation player when it comes to plus minus. Or on-offs. I'll say on-off.
I can see that. Okay. What do you got? I'm gonna throw one in here. I got something.
For the bench.
Yeah.
Well, I think if all goes well, you could hope for Clarkson to be in the 6-man running.
So you like him in the 6-man running?
That's a hot take.
That's all the way out there.
That's all the way out there.
I'm not on 6th Avenue.
Okay, you are. Yeah. Let me help you. Let me help your take a little bit here. If Clarkson is to be in the 6-man running, what do you see him averaging in terms of points per game? Do you have a points per game average here? What are you thinking?
16, 18.
16 and 18.
16, 18.
Okay, this might go into one of my Nadia bingo card. We're going to see a game where Jordan Clarkson takes 25 shots.
True.
Oh, my Lord. Is it the 82nd game of the season? Everything wrapped up.
We're going to see a game this season where Jordan Clarkson puts up 25. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be like 13 to 25. I don't know. It could be 425. If it's 425, that's not a good night.
No.
For anybody. But he'll get some shots up.
He is the without question, the player on the team that I am not most uncertain about in terms of what he is. We know exactly what Jordan Clarkson is. But in terms of the role because I could absolutely see what you're saying come true. He is the sixth man, right? He maybe plays the most minutes, takes the most shots off the bench. I could also see a scenario where he's maybe the ninth man. Correct. You know, like again, that's no shade on him, but there's the other guys here coming off the bench are good players. So I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We've seen Deuce come a lot off the bench first in the preseason. We haven't seen much of Hart, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he manages.
What's also interesting is that all three of those guards have something to prove, right? I mean, Deuce shot below standard last year, percentage-wise. He was hampered by injury. Clarkson, he was injured, and his three-point numbers dipped off last year, despite leading the league in bench points for the last 5 years. So, Macri's right. He could be a guy, he could be on the penthouse, or he could be out of that damn rotation, depending on how many quality shots he's taking tonight.
It all depends on how he's feeling himself.
All depends.
That's the thing that's really interesting. I want to go back to Jalen Brunson, because with him in this new system, right, you're going to see some of him off the ball. We're going to see that. And we've seen some good things with that in the preseason. What do you think the ceiling is for him this season? Because some people say, okay, he's going to play off the ball, the numbers are going to drop a lot, right? And I don't necessarily see that dropping a lot, but I think there's a way he could be more efficient. What do you see for him as his ceiling this year playing in this Mike Brown offense? What do you see?
Well, it's going to be an equal opportunity offense. At least that's the goal, right? And if that is the case, similar to what we saw last year, we saw 5-6 guys capable of having double-digit nights, and I think you're going to see the same thing, especially with these guys coming back another year under their belt, the chemistry, schedule, things of that nature. So for KAT, maybe points or so may come down. His assists, career-high assists last year, maybe that maintains that level or he goes up a little bit. But in the end, in crunch time, those numbers ain't falling off. Mike Brown already admitted, when it comes to that final five, we're going to him. That's what you need to do. You need to go to your stars. And I heard, I don't remember who I heard with this take saying that, maybe he's peaked.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, I watched Jalen Brunson put 46 up on the Sixers in a playoff game. I mean, if that's the guy that's peaked, give me him in a big spot. Give me him, the guy that cooked Detroit in Game 6, like, give me that guy, or Game 5, whatever it was in Detroit. Give me that guy. I'm good with where he's at right now. So even if the numbers come down a little bit, I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, for me, it's more about efficiency. That's the thing I want to see. You still think he can be an MVP candidate in this new Mike Brown offense?
Candidate, yes. I mean, we're in this very weird age where these like statistically anomalous players like Jokic and Antetokounmpo and even SGA to a certain extent exist. So I don't, I agree, like candidate, like top 5, yes. Do I think he actually has a chance to win it? I don't know that I go that far. But for me, success for Jalen Brunson this season is not going to be defined in the way that we typically define success for star players in the NBA. It's going to be looking at stats like dribbles per touch. Can those go down? It's going to be obviously looking at defensive on-off, which was, again, quietly horrible last year. Especially KAT team was, everybody blames KAT for the defensive stuff. They were the same defensively, the numbers say, whether KAT was on the court or whether he was off. It was Brunson where the numbers tanked. Now, there was some noise there and who he was playing with and who he was playing against, but still, could we see those numbers come up a little bit? The efficiency, like you said, and then this isn't so much him, this is more Mike Brown and his teammates. Can we just get more catch and shoot looks?
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Ideally open, but that's all those sorts of things. Because we know he can do all the other stuff. That's not a question.
So this is maybe, I feel like, one of the hardest things to put on the bingo card, because we've seen a lot of what Jalen Brunson is, right?
Yeah.
So what's the one thing you could possibly see this season that maybe you wouldn't expect from Jalen Brunson that you might not have on your bingo card?
I'm going to do an assist number, but what's his career high? 7 point something?
Yeah, I think it's
7. I think it was just under 7.5. I think 7.4.
And I don't love this one because assists are not the best way often to track whether a player's impact on his team's offense. But since I don't really have another better one right now,
give him a 20 assist game this year.
Oh, we could go with a single game. That's an interesting one.
We saw 17 last year against Denver, if I remember correctly. I think it was 17.
You know what? I'll go. He averages 8.5 assists, or at least 8.5 assists a game.
Oh, averages 8.5 assists per game. Okay, put that down on the bingo card for Jalen Brunson. 8.5 assists per game. What you got for Brunson?
I'm going to go in a tandem. I'll draw Karl-Anthony Towns in there, and I'll say that they will be top 3 points per possession in pick and roll.
And pick and roll.
That's good.
I like that.
We need that.
I actually like that.
A thorough 2-man game between those two guys.
Top 3 in points per possession in pick and roll.
That's what I want to see.
I want to see the volume. I agree with you. That's a great one. But to me, as much as the efficiency with them with the pick and roll, I want to see how much they go to it.
Go to it.
And how does that jive with the new look offense?
New look offense. Do want to see that. You guys mentioned before Josh Hart, and we haven't seen a lot of him in the preseason. You also talked about his health with the splint on his finger, also dealing with the knee issue that he's had from time to time. How concerned are you about Josh Hart's health? What do you think is the worst case scenario if he's not 100%? And is there a point where the Knicks might want to say, okay, we're going to shut you down, have surgery on that finger, and get right before the playoffs? How concerned are you guys about Josh Hart's health? I think we all know how important he is to the team, but is there any concern about his health right now as we head into the season?
Again, we got to see how he performs with the splint. How does he handle physical contact?
Yep.
Can he get through it? And then I guess as an organization that they'll come to a decision. But when it comes to impacting the game, he's the guy that can do it without scoring.
Yep.
And he's got the physical and the mental to do it. Because as he said last year, he wants to be a servant to his guys. He wants to have a larger role if he can, but he's going to get in where he fits in. He's still part of that New York grit attitude that this team needs.
Yep.
Getting off after it on the boards, getting out in transition, pushing the ball ahead. That's what Mike Brown wants. All right, like he'll do that. He was a triple-double threat last year as a starter. So I think despite the splint thing is worrisome for sure, but he can still impact things and help them win games, even if it's not shooting or scoring with the splint.
No, we have seen that from him. How you feeling about Josh Hart?
To go back to Tibbs for a sec, I think the harshest criticism you could levy at Tibbs is that he made the average Knick fan maybe not dislike Josh Hart, but be frustrated on a regular basis with Josh Hart, which if you look at how much love he elicited over the first year and a half and change he was here. Like, Knick fans, I was, getting some older readers to my newsletter throwing out the Busher comparisons. Like, I haven't seen a guy play the game this way in 50 years. That's what Josh Hart is all about. He's all about bringing energy into the game, being a spark plug, being a live wire, and just doing his thing. And last year, that wasn't the version of Josh Hart that we saw. I know, but the triple-doubles. The triple-doubles were great, don't get me wrong. But when you see Josh Hart at his best. Mm-hmm. And to me, we did not see that guy nearly enough last year. Obviously, this back thing is not ideal, but I think a move to the bench, even though I know what Josh Hart said, he sees himself as a starter in the league, the whole thing. I think that's going to be the best thing that could possibly happen to Josh Hart.
I happen to agree, and I think go ahead. I would say keeping him around 25 minutes a game could be a good thing for him.
Yeah, I would say just based off what he said, is that the turning point for Josh Hart, who relies a lot on his athleticism. Remember, he's had a knee issue as well.
Yep.
I think we may find out this year. Is this the turning of a corner for a guy who, needs that to be the best version of himself?
We'll see.
The minutes thing is going to be interesting with him, how much he plays and how he's protected. But give me your bingo card stuff for Josh Hart. I think there's a lot of interesting ways you can go here.
I'll go that Josh Hart. How about this? How about he is the NBA's leading rebounder amongst bench players?
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. NBA's leading rebounder amongst bench players.
On a per game.
Per game.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. What you got?
Oh man.
You can go a lot of ways with Josh, man. You can talk about will he shoot better from three this year? Will he get up more threes? Will he shoot a higher percentage? Like there's a lot of interesting things with Mr. Josh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's fun if he's gonna be shooting a higher percentage. Let's see.
Maybe the split is what he needed. I don't know.
I mean, he shot like 45% his first year here after the trade.
After the trade, he did. Shot very well.
Man, that's a good one. I'll say next to Brunson, he's a second leader in fourth quarter minutes.
Whoa!
Wow. That's what wow. Next to Brunson.
Do they go back to him as Mr. Reliable?
That's a good one.
Huh.
If the offense is sputtering in the too big look.
Right.
Because remember, we've got options now. So
So you can see it with the offense sputtering that Mike Brown would trust him a lot on the floor down the stretch. That's kind of what you're envisioning. If the things aren't looking well.
With the need for more playmaking, more rebounding. I mean, obviously you're going to get that with Mitch, but just a bit more athletic, a bit more fluid with Hart out there, being able to play faster if you need to play faster, depending on the matchup.
Okay. All right. I like that one. That's a good one.
Good.
That was slightly spicy. I do like that one. Okay, the offense has got so much attention, right? Let's talk about the defense, because so much of the attention with this team has gone to Mike Brown. And offense, you mentioned J-Mac. People forget sometimes that Mike Brown is a really good defensive coach, right? And we know that. So with the defensive schemes under Mike Brown, when you look at everything, and I think there's a little bit of look of, how does this team look last year? Last year we saw KAT play and drop coverage. That was a disaster. That did not work well. I've been very curious to watch how this team looks early on in the preseason through that. And again, it's only preseason. But what are your expectations for this team defensively? How good do you think they could be? How good do you think this defense could be under Mike Brown?
Well, they need to be improved to have a real shot at winning the championship. But we've seen history of showing us that at least like the last 10 years of finals, the winners typically are a top 10 defense. Typically. Now, you'll have some outliers, but typically you got to play championship caliber defense, man. And with two quote-unquote holes in that starting five, they have a unique challenge in terms of trying to cover their weaknesses, because you have two guys where most contenders have one and kind of none, like if you're looking at like an OKC. So for the Knicks, it's deploying their best defenders at all times, whether it's Mitch, it's OG, it's Mikal Bridges, it's Deuce McBride. How will Mikal Bridges, as Mike Brown has alluded to, moving around in that defense, what rotations come with that, and how do they maximize the defense that way? Whether it's drop or it's switch, being able to adjust based on the matchup. So if you have Towns in the drop, make sure that it's a matchup where maybe it is Towns running with the second unit, where you have less pull-up jumpers, less mid-range jumpers, right? And it's more to his standing. Now, if you're going to switch more, you want to make sure that if you're going to put KAT out there on the perimeter, that he's not going to get killed in guarding in space, right? Maybe switching more is more of having Mitch Robinson out there, or whatever it is. You want to make sure that you are adapting to what the personnel is that you have out there and who you're going up against.
So what I'm hearing again is that malleability.
Yeah.
Right? We're hearing that once again. We talked about in the offense. Is that something you're looking for too in a Mike Brown defense?
Yeah, because you need to be malleable and adaptable to different opponents. But I want to pick up on something you just said about to win a championship. Like, so many of these teams have had elite defenses. We just saw one, obviously, in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
The Knicks, I don't think, with Brunson and Towns on the roster, unfortunately, I don't think a great defense, like an all-time defense, is going to be in the cards. But even Denver a few years ago, it's not like when you played the Nuggets, like you felt like, oh, the buffet line's open. You know, like they could get stops when they needed to get stops. Not to say that the Knicks last year could not, but there were too many times against Indiana, certainly in the conference finals, and even frankly, at times before that in the playoffs and like throughout the regular season, where it just felt like they had their backs against the wall and they didn't have the answers, you know? So can they get to a level where they just avoid those instances? Again, ideally with both Jalen Brunson and karl-Anthony Towns on the floor. And look, if part of the answer this year is finding out that, hey, come playoff time against certain opponents, we may be limited to playing those guys together 15, 20 minutes a game, you know? Maybe less even. Like, maybe that's part of the equation, but this is going to be my theme I keep going back to. You have 82 games to figure that out, you know? And there were too many of the times with things last year, it didn't feel like we figured out enough over the first 82 games.
Yeah, regular season is the time. If people say it doesn't matter, that's not true. This is why it matters, right? Because you have that time to figure it out. So, for your bingo card, what do you have in terms of the defense? What are you going with in terms of defense, J-Mac?
I would like to see them generate more. I mean, Mike Brown talks about how he wants to run. Easiest way you could run is to generate turnovers. Tibbs' defense is very conservative, didn't do that a lot. So I'd like to see, can they, let's say, be top 10 in turnovers per
Top
game.
10 in turnovers. Okay, so maybe a little more gambling this year, maybe going for some more steals, playing in the passing lanes a little bit more. What do you like for the defense this year? Could be for the season, a game. What you got?
Yeah. Well, this one was predetermined, as opposed to the rest of our bingo cards. This one was a little bit predetermined. I'll go with, and shout out to Macri for this one, I'll go with OG having a 5x5 this year.
Wow.
I think OG having a 5x5.
In a game, OG gets 5x5. So let's just, for the people, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 assists, and 5 blocks.
5 blocks.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
If it happens, everybody's got to remember. CP said it.
I'm going to go look up after we're done here if a Knick has ever done that.
Has ever done.
Yeah. I want to say no, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I feel like that's something I would have heard. Maybe Patrick, maybe Michael Ray
Willis
Richardson. Oh well, Willis.
I
Maybe
can see Willis doing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
In that offense.
Yeah, I can see that. That's interesting. That's that. Look, if somebody knows,
It's rare. It doesn't happen a lot.
Doesn't happen a lot. So let's know. Okay, want to move on to because there's a lot of talk about the roster, and every year I always say, okay, who's going to be the X factor on this team? But I want to do something a little bit different this year. Let's look at who do you think is going to surprise on this team. And who do you think is going to disappoint on this team? I think last year for a lot of people, the disappointment was Mikal Bridges. He was disappointing for a lot of people. Who do you think is going to surprise? Who do you think is going to disappoint? Go with you first, CP.
The surprise will be last year's disappointment. It's going to be Mikal Bridges. It's going to be Mikal Bridges. 1 year added to the chemistry with this team. The contract is in tow. He's with a different coach. Didn't seem like him and Tibbs were on the same page last year. I'm going with that based on how Mike Brown wants this offense to be run. More ball movement, more player movement, playing with pace, playing faster. To me, that speaks to Mikal Bridges. And of everyone on the roster that's not Brunson and not Towns, he's the guy that can do most of those things with the ball in his hands. Not, maybe not at a superstar level that Brunson Towns can,
right.
But he can, and it's important for him to do so for this team to truly diversify the offense. It's got to be a lot more Mikal Bridges in this.
So you got to be a surprise player. Who's the player you think is going to disappoint this year?
I'm going to go with Clarkson. Yeah, I'm going to go with Clarkson.
Oh, you think he's going to shoot too much?
I think that because this offense is going to require high IQ, discipline, and decision-making. I have that term. You guys know it. We don't need that. It was specifically coined for Julius Randle. And Julius, we love you, man. Enjoy Minnesota. Good luck out there. That was for Julius Randle. The low IQ plays, the bad decisions. I think Clarkson's going to be full of those. I'm here for it. He's going to be full of those. Also, 33 years old, coming off a bad year last year. I think he could be the guy that slides further down the bench.
And you talked about it earlier about when we talked about the bench. He could slide. You said you could see him be anywhere from 6 to 9, sort of sliding out the rotation. Interesting one with Jordan Clarkson. I think a lot of people are banking on him to have a good year. So that's interesting. What do you got, J-Mac? Who's surprise and disappointment?
I don't know that I expect anybody to surprise me because if I expected that, then it wouldn't be a surprise. But relative to expectations, I would have taken CP's answer. I would have said Mikal Bridges. Since he said it, I can't say it. I'll go with the other wing. I'll go with OG Anunoby. I think there is kind of an idea of what he is, and maybe just as significantly what he isn't. And I think under Mike Brown, if Mike Brown, we've heard reports that Mike Brown wanted to get OG when he was in Sacramento, when he was Sacramento's head coach. So I think he is going to tap into OG and realize if I can get this guy fully locked in, I mean, he could be the difference maker for this team. So what does that look like exactly? It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I think OG is a player that'll benefit from getting out and running more. Mike Brown wants to do that. So that'll be my surprise. My disappointment, again, I would take CP stole my answers. I'll go with a different free agent signing from the summer. I'll go with Guerschon Yabusele. But I want to tread lightly here. I don't think he's going to have a bad year, but we even heard Mike Brown say this, I think a couple days ago. The learning curve for Guerschon may be a little bit longer. He spoke to something to that effect.
He did.
And, it's if he wants his bigs to do a little bit more, be a little bit more of a hub on offense, is that something that's going to take a little bit longer for Yabusele to adjust to, especially coming off of that Philly team where that was the Wild Wild West. Playing for the Sixers last year, nothing mattered. So it's a little bit of a different animal here.
Okay, so here's what I'll do with the bingo card stuff for this. Let's not talk about the disappointments. Let's leave it aside. We don't want to depress the viewers out here.
No.
The surprises. Mikal Bridges was for you, and your surprise was
I'll go OG, but I have a different bingo card guy for this.
Okay, then give us a different bingo card. Go ahead. What you got?
This is probably insane. Tyler Kolek plays more games than Malcolm Brogdon.
Yo, that is the spiciest. That is the spiciest all the bingo card stuff that we've had here before. Maybe more than CP 71 games for Mitch.
I might
Tyler Kolek plays more games than Malcolm Brogdon?
I might be sipping a little bit of the Kool-Aid because Kolek coming off of that Washington game, it's the most recent game we've watched as we're sitting here.
No turnovers.
And it felt like a guy who finally realized, you know what? I don't know how many more chances I'm going to get to make an impression. I better do something now. And Brogdon's history in terms of not being able to stay healthy. How does Mike Brown want to play? He wants the ball to move around. Who's the best passer on the Knicks? I don't even think that's a controversial statement. It's Tyler Kolek.
Hands down.
You know, so if, let's say Brunson has to sit some games, another maybe someone else. So, yeah, there you go.
Tyler Kolek playing more games than Malcolm Brogdon. I like you. You want to put a number on those games?
No, I do not.
Just more games. Just go more games.
More.
All right, let's go with more.
More.
That's fine. CV, what do you have? Do you have something for Mikal Bridges or somebody else in terms of a surprise for the bingo card?
It would be Mikal.
Well, how good of a season you think Mikal's gonna? I think Mikal's gonna have a good season.
I think he's.
I'm with you.
I think he's gonna be. I think he can make the All-Star team this year.
Mikal Bridges as an All-Star.
Can make the All-Star team this year.
I like that too. Now, if Mikal Bridges makes the All-Star, does KAT and Brunson also make the All-Star team? Well, the Knicks have 3 All-Stars this year.
Depending on how they finished by the break,
yep.
If they're one of the best teams in the game, you kind of show that team that respect. That's what Cleveland got in with 3 last year. We've seen it.
It's only happened once in the last 50 years with Ewing, Starks, and Oakley.
And Oakley. Yep. That would be very interesting. Okay, with all that being said, every year we do this on here. I think last year we all came pretty close with the win totals. I want to do win total and seeding prediction. How you guys think the Knicks will do this year? Over under in a lot of places has been, I think I see 53.5.
53.5.
53.5 is what I've seen on a lot of different books. Do you see the Knicks going over or under that? What's your total wins, and where do you think they finish in the East?
I've actually had it at 53.
Right at 53.
I had it at 53. I'll do the 54 just to say go over. I'll do the 54.
So you're going over, and for your bingo card prediction, what are you saying? How many more over are they going?
Well, they had 51 last year, so if I'm going 54, that's 3.
So you say going 54?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said you were going to go more than 53. So you're going with 54, just one game over.
I'll go one more.
That's what you're doing. That's your prediction.
Yeah.
And where did they finish in the East? Second in the East. Behind?
Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah. Behind Cleveland. What do you say?
53 wins. Second in the East.
You guys are lower than I thought you'd be. I thought you might go a little higher with wins.
You got fans talking about 60 wins.
I don't think 60.
To win 60 games in the NBA, there's a reason there's there's sometimes no teams win 60 games. You know, we have seasons like that. I'll go Cleveland also as the number 1 seed, although I don't. Just because I can't think, I don't think the Knicks are going to finish as the top seed. I hope they do. I hope we're both wrong. But I don't see anyone else that I really believe can jump up and get into that mid-50s range. Watch like Atlanta or Orlando or someone like that does it.
That would shock me.
Would it?
Atlanta jumping up that high would shock me.
Well,
what's so you 54 for you. You said 53. 53. I'm gonna say 55. 55 is my prediction. I'm gonna go 55. I don't think Mike Brown's gonna go. I don't think they'll go that hard for 60.
Right.
Even if they could, right? I just don't think they're gonna go that hard. I also say two seed in the East. Okay. I say the 2 seed. I don't think the seeding is gonna matter that much for this team. We'll get into that in a second. Yeah. Do you guys want to make any spicy win predictions? Or no, you staying there. Is there a world in which this team could win 60 games?
Sure, I wouldn't put it past them with the talent that they have. Looking at the schedule, but I think it would take a lot. And as you said, I'm not sure if they're going to push for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I just can't see that. I don't see them I don't see them pushing for it. J-Mac, do you see any world where they win 60 games?
This isn't a bingo card thing because it's not a statement, but I'm
Right.
toying with, like, if you gave me the choice of the Knicks win 45 games or the Knicks win 60 games, which would I take?
Ooh, that's good. That's a
And
good
I'm
question.
honestly, I'm a little torn. Man, okay, maybe this is spicy. I would actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I would pick 60. There's too much, unless there's injuries, which, look, if there injuries are injuries, you can't, and as we saw against the Wizards, this team is really dependent on its top 6 guys. You know, you take away one of those, okay. If you take away 2 of them for a period of time, then it's like, excuse me. But there's too much talent on this team. I just can't fathom they get, like, maybe 49 I could see, 49, 50. I can't see 45. So I would pick 60 before I would pick 45. I don't know if that qualifies for
I like
bingo.
that question. I would pick 60 before I pick 45. I think 45 is a little too low. But if they finished, I mean, look, if they finished 52 wins, would it shock me?
No,
it wouldn't shock me at all.
But I do think it's interesting weighing all the factors that can contribute to the record and how they play it. It's a new system. How quickly do they adjust? You have a brand new coach who's in New York. Yes, we can look here and say it's all about April, which it is, but optics is something totally different. And if this team is in a 3-game skid and it's going slow, hey, Mike, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Does he feel more pressure? Does he tap into his inner Tibbs like, oh, no, I'm rocking with these 6, these 7.
I hope that doesn't happen.
For the next 10 to lock us in here.
Because the fans are going to do that.
They're going to do it regardless.
The fans
it's human
are
nature.
3-game losing streak, which is going to
We're not
happen.
winning the championship. 3-game losing streak, it's over with. We're done. We're cool.
And you know, I'll be on here rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
And we'll all be on our shows rolling our eyes because that's what's
Right.
going to happen. Everybody's going to jump out the window.
Right.
And it's going to happen. They're going to have a 3-game skid probably.
course.
I hope they don't have a 3-game skid, but they probably will.
Yeah.
And some of us will be level-headed. Some of us won't.
I don't know who you're
But
referring to.
the interesting thing is that he's been brought in here as the anti-Tibbs in many ways, and one of those is going to be how he uses the rotation and extends the bench.
Yeah.
So will he, at the sign of adversity, will he tighten up a little bit, go the Tibbs route, and say, I can't trust these guys? I think that's going to be interesting to see as the season plays out.
Well, to that point, what I would find interesting is, because you're right, human nature sometimes can be for coaches to tighten up like this.
Yeah.
Does he tighten up and move guys out of the rotation? Like, let's say something you said happened. Let's say Jordan Clarkson falls out of the rotation or slides down the rotation in terms of minutes. Does that then allow something like Macri brought up? This is one of Macri's takes, to give Kolek or Adadier more time. Does he say, okay, I'm going to give other guys more time and see what they can do and find out what they're about? Do you think he does that, or does he go to Tibbs' route, as you said, sticks to his guns and now I'm going to play these 6 guys? Like, do we think any of the is he more malleable than we even think to play some younger guys here? Do we see that as a possibility? Because fans are going to ask for that too.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm going to blame it all on J-Mac, because
That's fine.
J-Mac's the one who said Kolek is going to play more games.
Kolek Hive right here.
Kolek, and the last preseason game was that they were cheering for Kolek.
I love
get
him.
in. They love Kolek.
Yeah.
So, but I wonder. I'm posing this out there. I wonder how malleable even more Brown could be. Go ahead.
There's malleability with play style and minutes and things of that nature, and then there is knowing who are the guys that are going to help me get to the finish line and making sure that they remain, like, making sure those guys know that you have their back.
Right.
And maybe Clarkson's the one guy, but even that, and then there's a whole clutch part of that discussion, which we don't need to get into right now. No,
Yes,
listen,
there is.
this stuff matters.
Yes.
But I don't, I think it's more in terms of getting to the young guys. Will he, if things are not going so well, will he start to push the minutes of the starters a little bit higher? That's maybe the more interesting thing for me.
That would be interesting. I'm really intrigued to see how we did a whole episode on breaking down minutes and how that would go. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Now, the playoff path is going to be interesting because we just talked about win total and seeding, and you guys, we all think they'll be number 2 seed.
Yeah.
We think there'll be 53 plus wins around there. Assuming that this team is in the top 4, right, which I think we all think they should be, but assuming they're in the top 4, who do you look at in the East that says, okay, this team could give the Knicks trouble here? this is a team I'm a little bit worried about here. Who's that team? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's the Hawks.
I feel the same way.
It's
the length of that team that concerns me a lot too.
You look at what's the sort of team that can give the Knicks issues. It's a team that is going to that is good enough, has some different things to throw at the Knicks defensively that can meaningfully frustrate them in what they want to do. And the mere fact that they have Dyson Daniels, who might be the best perimeter guard defender in the league, again, no one's going to stop Jalen Brunson or shut down Jalen Brunson, but Daniels' presence. And then you look at, all right, well, what do the Knicks have the most trouble historically guarding? And that's not just the Knicks. Any good defense has trouble guarding a pick-and-roll attack like Trae Young is capable of orchestrating. I just think that Hawks are going to be a really good offense. And, again, not a great defense, but have some things to throw at you defensively. And then, obviously, Kristaps with the stretch five and that whole thing. So it would be Atlanta for me.
I like Atlanta. Is Atlanta for you too? Because you had mentioned them earlier. So,
Yeah.
well, you say always.
Yeah, always, man. And it's like you said, they have the things that give the Knicks trouble. It's the guard play. I do believe that the entertainment factor around Trae Young, I think, has clouded our overall perception of him as a player. I think he's better than what we lead on. I think a lot of people hate on him for no reason. To me, as a playmaker, as the dynamo for that offense, you have to respect him. Is Kristaps going to be healthy? That 1-2 pick and pop scenario could be a bit dangerous. They've added more three-point shooting with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard. They have Jalen Johnson, a double-double machine, coming back off the shoulder. Is he going to take another step up? Ricochet has looked better. If he finished the year well, he looked good in Eurobasket.
Before he got hurt.
And he's coming back, right? That was the number one pick. Don't forget about that.
Yep.
So they have a lot of different. They have the wing depth to throw at you. Dyson Daniels, as Macri said, that gives the Knicks fits. They're switchable. And like I said, the Trae Young factor, I don't think you can understate that.
Well coached also.
Well coached. Quinn
Snyder's a good coach. Yeah, no, I agree with that. This is, I guess, a weird one to do for the bingo thing, because are we going to say that Atlanta is going to upset the Knicks?
I mean, I'm not uttering that out loud. But how about this? The toughest series the Knicks will get in the Eastern Conference playoffs comes from the Hawks,
pushing them to
7.
Wow, the Hawks will push the Knicks to 7 games.
Why not?
I like. What do you say?
I do wonder about Orlando, though. I like it. Like, I'm putting the Hawks as number one.
Okay.
Like non-Cleveland team.
Yeah, give me some Orlando.
But I want to see what the Bane experiment looks like. To me, is that enough? On the surface, on paper, no. But they have a floor where you know you're going to get tenacious defense.
Oh, yeah.
They have a lot of defensive versatility. They always play the Knicks hard. They play them physical. Is Paolo ready for that next jump up? I think so. Franz, I'm not so sure. I also don't like the depth on either team, the Hawks or the bench depth on the Hawks or the Magic. But I do think if you get a healthy season, I mean, they were still able to get as far as they did with Paolo and Franz being out with the obliques, and they were still able to recover. Yep. I think that says something. They did lose Jalen Suggs as well.
Which I thought was huge. I thought Suggs is huge.
I think that says something about that, the makeup of their team. Could they be a little bit better than what Detroit was last year? We'll have to see.
That wouldn't be a fun series against the Magic.
So let's do this, because on your bingo card, you have the Hawks pushing the Knicks in their toughest series set to 7. You giving some respect to the Magic. If the Knicks play the Magic, what do you think they'd push them to?
I still think 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna put that in the bingo cards. You Hawks push the Knicks to 7. Magic, if they play them, will push them to 6. Okay, I like that. All right, I'm gonna wrap on this, because this is the most anticipated Knicks season in 3 decades. There are a lot of expectations for this team. I've been talking about this all summer. You guys have been talking about it when I've been on your shows. You guys are talking about it as well. There's the fan pressure. There is the internal expectations. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how much margin for error there is with this team. I'm not sure. It's not a lot, is what I'll say. There's not a lot here. What defines success for the Knicks this season? Is this finals or bust? Is it championship you got to win or bust? Is it Eastern Conference Finals or bust? I think last year we all said Eastern Conference Finals or bust, and then they got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So where are you this year in terms of expectations for this team? Like, they got to do this. I don't even like using the word or else, because I'm always usually like, well, or else what? What are we going to do? We're going to fire, not we, but Knicks are going to fire Mike Brown? Are the fans going to revolt outside MSG and not go to the games no more? Y'all not doing that. What are the stakes really for this team going into this year? What do you say, CP?
I think it's finals, man.
Finals or bust?
I would be okay with a competitive ECF loss a la last year to Cleveland. Anybody else? No.
So opponent matters in how they play against the opponent in the ECF. See, I think you're being reasonable. Yeah. There's going to be people that watch this and know we're going to see in the comments. They're going to be like, nah, what are you doing, CP? It's got to be the finals or nothing. For some people, the season is going to be like that.
Yeah.
Do you think they're being reasonable?
Sure. The team's been in a championship drought since 1973, right? So it is reasonable. But look, anything can happen in the playoffs, man. You got to be healthy. Matchups matter. And, you got to be able to deliver in crunch time, money time.
Yeah, a lot has to go right.
A lot has to go right. The NBA is a very difficult league to win the championship. I think it's the hardest. I
happen to agree. Where were you on this season where all eyes are going to be on our content, all eyes are going to be in this team, the expectations are through the roof? Is this fine? Are you with finals or bust? Or?
It has to be finals or bust, and here's why.
Okay.
When they made the trade for Towns, and I don't want to get into the weeds too much here because we're almost at the end, but trading for a player with that contract and who is, I think as of right now, he's eligible to sign an extension for 2 years, $150 million. You don't trade for that player with the intention of flipping him for someone better. That's your move. You've planted your flag on Karl-Anthony Towns Island, and with the moves that they had already made, obviously from Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, and then Brunson before it, like, that's your team. And you said, we think this squad is going to be good enough. And if it's not finals or bust this year, what is going to change moving forward after this season that's going to make it easier or a better path? I mean, you're going to tell me, year 2 under Mike Brown is going to make a difference. I'm sorry, no.
I'm going to pause you right there, because I agree with everything you're saying. But I know there's going to be somebody in the comments or somebody watching. They're going to say, well, go get Giannis.
Well, but look, here's the thing, and that's where it gets.
That's coming.
That's where it gets to the second part of it, where is it finals or bust, or is it championship or bust? Here's the thing: if they make the finals and they lose to whoever, it doesn't even matter who comes out of the West. It's the whole summer's going to be about Giannis. Same as if they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, same as they lose in the second round, same as if they don't make the playoffs. Any of those scenarios, it's going to be the summer of Giannis. The only way that it is not going to be the summer of Giannis is if they win a championship.
All right. So before we get out of here, let me ask you both, because I actually don't know either of your thoughts on this, and I haven't talked to you guys about this, but I said this on the last episode we did. I don't think the Knicks need Giannis, even if they lose in the finals. I don't think they need it, because I don't see a world where there's a trade that having Giannis actually makes them better. It will gut their roster. You need depth right now in the NBA. I know people love big names, and I know people are going to listen to me and be like, Dex, you're crazy. I'm not sure it makes them better. I don't think that you're wrong, though. If the Knicks lose Eastern Conference Finals or Finals, I think Macri's spot on here. It's going to be all about they got to go get Giannis. They better do whatever it takes to get Giannis. I'm not sure they even have enough to get Giannis. I don't really think that they do. But everybody's... Now, next year it's a little different. It'll change. But do they need Giannis? Even if they lose, do they need Giannis? It's kind of what I'm going to.
To me, they'll answer that question. To go back to how CP started the show, that question will be answered this year. Because the fundamental question that faces this team today is the same one that faced them the day they made the Towns trade, which is, and we alluded to it, can you win a championship with your two best offensive players both being minus defenders? Like, from that perspective, if you are in some combination of move or players going out, players coming in, you are swapping out Karl-Anthony Towns, who's a brilliant offensive player but a minus defender, for a guy in Giannis who, is not the defender he once was, but is still a very positive force on that end of the court. in a way, I do think that solves your fundamental problem. Now, to get back to your point, what else?
Right.
Who else needs to go out? Whether to a third team or a fourth team, where you're bringing picks in and this and that, that gets into where it's a dicier proposition. But on a fundamental level, yeah, I absolutely think there is a world where we end this season and we're saying Giannis is maybe not the perfect answer, given what the trade would realistically have to be, but the best answer that they have.
Yeah, we got a long way to go before
we
get
do.
there. We got a long way to go before we get there. But listen, here's what's going to happen too. 3-game losing streak, people going to be like, go get Giannis.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, go get Giannis, go get it.
They're going to be
now.
saying, bring back Tibbs through the game losing streak.
Well, that's going to happen too. The one thing I will say to what both you guys said, because you guys are both saying finals or bust, and I think the organization made that abundantly clear, and I don't have a problem with it once they decided to move on from Tom Thibodeau. I thought once you decide to move on from Tom Thibodeau and the way that statement came out from Leon Rose and all that, that was like, we are trying to win a championship. And that's what it should be. That's what the fans want to hear. You should want the expectations. Now, it makes the content we do a little more exciting. It makes a lot of people tune in. It makes a lot of people come to the watch parties and all that other stuff. But also will make it fun when they do have a 2-game skid, when they do have a 3-game losing streak, when Jordan Clarkson shoots 27 shots.
Yeah.
This is what's going to make it all crazy. This is what makes me excited for the season, man. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if our predictions are right. Wait, are we putting anything on the bingo card for the finals or bust, or are we doing? Is that on the bingo card? The Knicks. All right.
Title drought ends.
Yeah.
Knicks win the championship.
You both going with that? Okay.
Why not?
Title drought ends. Knicks win the championship.
Over.
Oh, you're gonna go specific with yours. Go.
Yeah.
Let me hear this.
The Denver Nuggets.
That's
Title drought ends. Knicks win the championship
Denver Nuggets.
over the Denver Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets.
We're gonna put something bonus on the bingo card. I'm gonna rock with y'all. I'm gonna go with this too. Title drought ends. It's gonna be crazy here in New York. It's gonna be insane. Insane. Jalen Brunson wins MVP.
Finals MVP.
Finals MVP. And in the clinching game, delivers a 50-piece. A masterpiece for the ages. For the Knicks fans. It has to be like that. I don't know why my producer Nikolai is shaking his head. It's got to be like that. We got to give the people hope. What are we doing? We got to give the people hope. We got to give them hope. Anyway, we've done another Knicks season preview. I appreciate y'all so much for coming through and rock with me. That is Jonathan Macri. Please check him out on Knicks Film School. Please also check out my guys, CP the Fanchise, Knicks Fan TV. Both of these guys do fantastic work with their channels. They're two of the best content creators. And they're always going to be rocking with me through the season here on New York Out Game. Appreciate y'all both. We'll see how all this pans out. And I'm going to be, when you guys are back on with me, I'm going to be referring back to this bingo card that we're going to have made up, and we'll see what's right and what's wrong. Because if somebody gets if OG gets a 5x5 game, I'm going to be like, hey,
Macri check, man. I'm
just hoping to get one dot on my
if
card.
we get one, if all of us get a dot on the bingo card, consider that successful.
Fine.
All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Man, of course.
Pleasure, man. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue this season preview where we look at things that you could put on your bingo card this season for the Knicks. And we had to bring in Knicks beat writer for the New York Post, Stefan Bondy, who joins me now. Steph, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I figure we'll have a little bit of fun here. We always keep things really serious. The Knicks season is long. It's about to start. So I wanted to ask you, because we're trying to fill out this bingo card here. I had Jonathan Macri at CP be part of it as well, too, CP the Fanchise of Knicks Fan TV. Now we have you. You have 4 spots to fill on this bingo card, Steph. So I would like you to give me 4 things that you think people wouldn't have on their bingo card regarding the Knicks this year. I have faith in you that you could do this. So what you got?
All right. So you put me a little bit on the spot just a little while ago to come up with them. But here's 2 that are related. Okay. One is good and one is bad.
Okay.
First one is Jalen Brunson will lead the Eastern Conference in scoring. I'm talking about points per game.
Wow.
And I know that he's supposed to play off the ball and play, and you know they're trying to play this community offense, but the reason why he's going to score that much, and this is the bad one, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to get injured. Those are my 2 predictions, and he only plays about half the season.
Wow, half the season for Karl-Anthony Towns playing, but Brunson will lead the team in scoring. Let me ask you.
Lead the Eastern Conference.
Lead the Eastern Conference in scoring. Sorry, lead the Eastern Conference in scoring. Let me just go back to the Brunson one real quick. You had told me, at the beginning, I think it was a media day, okay, we need to still see how this works. Are you more confident in Brunson's scoring ability with playing off the ball from what you've seen so far in this Mike Brown offense?
I mean, we really haven't seen enough of it to feel one way or another. I mean, the starters have only played like really maybe for three, 4 quarter, 5 quarters, something like that, like together. So I don't feel a certain way one way or another just based on preseason. I'm on the record though. I have to see it work before I say this is something I believe in. I do know Jalen Brunson obviously is a dynamic scorer, but he's done that with the ball in his hand. So I'm skeptical that he's going to be like Steph Curry. I think when it comes down to it, and the Knicks need buckets, give Jalen Brunson the ball and pick and roll and let him cook. And that's basically how I feel it's going to end up happening. I understand Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are kind of better in this free-flowing offense, but I think to be most efficient, the Knicks are going to need Jalen Brunson with the rock in his hands.
Now, when it counts, they're going to need him. Now, I want to be clear for the people. Steph is not wishing injury upon anybody. He just made a prediction here. He's not wishing that on KAT. If your prediction comes true,
that'd be messed up. I'm not wishing that. You told me to make predictions. I'm making predictions.
You did.
You're making me like a jerk.
I don't want to do that. That happened in that live show we did where you said the Giants were going to win 2 games. People had their feelings about that. They have 2 wins, but that's all.
How many wins they got? How many wins they got?
They've got 2, sir. They have 2.
All right.
They do have 2. If
call me when they get 3.
I will. I will call you, or I'll see you, or some other people will bother you. Now let me ask you this: with the KAT stuff, if he misses the amount of time you said, that would be a detrimental blow to this team and what they could do. Do you think they have enough depth to recover from that through the regular season?
Well, obviously they need Mitchell Robinson to be healthy, so that's another question mark. That would be the big question. And to be honest, seeing Yabusele play center yesterday it's just preseason, so you don't want to put too much into it, but it was not encouraging seeing him to play center. So, you hope Ariel Hook-Porty pops and gets a lot better and Mitchell Robinson stays healthy. Theoretically, they do have enough depth, but there are a lot of question marks there.
All right, so I like the 2 things that you have in the bingo card. Brunson to lead the Eastern Conference in scoring. KAT will miss a significant portion of the season. I believe you said half the season. What do you have as your last 2? What do you have as your final 2 here?
OG Anunoby for the first time will make first team all defense.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
It's not that going out on a limb. Obviously, he's been talking about it, and I don't think he's going to get Defensive Player of the Year. Unfortunately for him, that usually goes to a big man because they produce the stats that are more tangible, like blocks, and the voters tend to go for people that protect the rim. Yep. But he will be first team all defense because his defense is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. I think the defense will be spurring this team on more so than the offense.
Wow. Do you think the Knicks could be a top 12 defense in the league this season? You do? Okay.
Yes.
Top 12
I mean,
defense.
especially listen, you put Mitchell Robinson at center, you're going with a defensive lineup, and then you're asking OG Anunoby to do a lot, and I think he's capable of doing it as long as he stays healthy.
All right, I like that one. Okay, so we got 3. One more, Steph. What's your last one?
Fewer wins than last season.
How many fewer?
In the regular season.
How many?
40. I'll go with 49. You make me pick.
49 wins for the
It's not dramatic. It's not dramatic, but I think, there's going to be, certainly with Tibbs, he went for every victory. We've already heard Mike Brown say, we're going to wave the white flag a lot of times sooner than maybe you expected or anticipated. So it's not going to be treating every regular season game like the Super Bowl, and as a result, the record will take a little bit of a hit.
All right. OG Anunoby, Defensive Player of the Year, 49. Excuse me, not Defensive Player of the Year, First Team All Defense. We didn't go that far. First Team All Defense, 49 wins for the Knicks. Then the fans are not going to like that prediction. They're going to say you're being too low on the New York teams. Steph, you had 2 wins for the Giants, 49 wins for the Knicks. They're not going to like it.
But does it matter?
No,
it
only
matters what this team does in the playoffs.
That is true.
As long as they get there.
I agree 100%. Steph, that is Stefan Bondy, our great beat writer covering the Knicks for the New York Post, kind enough to give us enough time on this season preview. Steph, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of New York Got Game. Did a fantastic season preview. The season is right around the corner. We have a lot of good things still coming up, some more content coming your way. Next week, we'll have a betting preview coming for you where we look at the best bets for the Knicks. We'll also preview the Knicks' first game of the season where they play the Cavs before they do it. And then we will also have a watch party for Knicks Cavs where myself and Brian Fonseca, along with a guest yet to be announced, will be watching the first game of the season right here in the studio with the rest of you guys live on our New York Post Sports YouTube channel. Special thanks to everybody that made this show look good. Technical director, Nikolai Jackson, producer, Tommy Hogan, production assistant, Tommy Cohen, and editor, Wesley Splain. I'm Dexter Henry. We'll catch you next time on another edition of New York Got Game.
And thanks for watching New York Got Game. Boom shakalaka.